How do we make sense of synchronicities? Now, synchronicities are quite a bizarre phenomenon. People don't obviously really know the true foundation to where they come from or anything like this. But if we look into Christianity, we get a more macrocosmic explanation of synchronicity. We get a more foundational perspective of it through the idea of divine providence, which is basically the idea that God is inculcated with us and he is involved in our lives in many different ways. So if we look into this, we can actually develop a better foundation of what we need to understand with regards to synchronicity. What is the purpose of synchronicity? More so than rather its meaning. Of course, we know that synchronicities are acausal, meaningful occurrences and events that happen in our lives, but what is the purpose of them? And the idea of divine providence gives us the understanding of the purpose of how we make sense or how we navigate synchronicities within our own lives. So what I'm going to do is read you this article that I wrote recently, and it will give you a good explanation of how we are to navigate around this. Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity and Christianity's idea of divine providence are two of the same concepts, yet one lacks the purpose of discernment to follow the path of God's divine will. Mere synchronicity itself is regarded as meaningful acausal coincidences. Some may say this is how God communicates to us, how he even speaks to us through the language of meaning. But through the Christian lens, synchronicity is only a mere stepping stone within the complete language of God. Divine providence, as I just said, is the magnum opus or meta framework of synchronicity itself, that God intervenes with the universe in real time, not only in upholding the natural order of the universe, but also through extraordinary intervention in the lives of people in this world. These are often regarded as miracles or synchronicities. These miracles or synchronicities, whatever way you want to call them, are moments where God metaphorically winks at us, in the reality of present life, reaffirming to the people who have eyes to see and ears to hear that he has an ultimate plan for you as an individual, and that through your free will, it is your ultimate choice to either recognize it or not. Most people see only half the picture though, that synchronicities have nothing to do with destiny or your divine journey with God, that they are just whimsical moments of life in which are used to reaffirm our own self-obsession with ourselves even. Or alternatively, that these extraordinary occurrences cause people to disregard them as complete nonsense, as is so often with atheistic kind of individuals. Yet it is much more deeper than that. The New Age interpretation of synchronicity, which is the Jungian interpretation of it, through Jungian psychology, does not recognize or emphasize the meaning of synchronicities in relation to following God's will. It is a concept that was originally wrapped within quantum mechanics in the early 80s of material science, which over time has become merged with this kind of pantheistic idea of finding oneness with the universe, as you see in a lot of New Age movements. Now, if God places synchronicities into our lives through his divine providence, which is what it's called, it is in his will for them to act as questions upon our own lives in the present moment, that we must reflect upon the paths and actions we are taking, that we are on, and the directions they take us. This is why they are referred to as meaningful coincidences. For if they do not cause us to question our free will in relation to our actions, within reality towards a higher being, then ultimately they are meaningless. But this is where we look from the perspective of Christianity through the idea of divine providence and God's interaction with us in the real world to develop an understanding of the purpose of synchronicity. A synchronicity is thus a wink from God to beg the question, why? Why are you doing this thing? Why is this processing, or why are you doing these actions in your lives? Or in your life, what are your intentions behind this action? All of this type of stuff. This is where synchronicities come into being, because they give us either hindsight, or they give us foresight, or they give us a retrospective outlook, or they should do at least, for us to contemplate and look inwardly to see why we're doing the things that we are doing, to see if they are ultimately bringing us further to God or away from God. No different from, let's say, a football match calling for half-time. A hint that self-reflection is needed to pull ourselves into the internal world. to talk to ourselves in union with God about our intentions and the dilemmas that we ultimately face in life. This is evident even, you could say, by the mere fact that most synchronicities happen extrinsically outside of ourselves through a mode of extroversion, when we're usually involved in the world, we're communicating with people, we're in social interaction, or we're in interaction extrovertedly through the world. This is where synchronicities usually happen. Therefore, they call us to come back to ourselves through contemplation and self-awareness with God. That's what I believe is the purpose of these things. This can be regarded as the purpose behind experiencing synchronicities themselves. Yet synchronicities can also indicate our path towards the truth of God, whereby moments of meaningful coincidence bring a natural smile to the face of the intuitively minded individual. That the event acts as a refreshing reminder that we are on the right path of God and our ultimate purpose, you could say. Yet this is only possible if we are open-minded enough to notice and observe the intricate details of synchronicity that God places before us through His divine providence. So tell me what you think of this, guys. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section below. I think it's a very interesting comparative look at what the actual purpose of synchronicity is and where it actually truly comes from, especially when we merge it with the idea of divine providence, which I believe is the more original understanding of synchronicity, because it is more totalified, it's more holistic. If we look at the idea of divine providence, that, you know, God comes into our lives and into people's lives and acts willingly to create and point our ways towards indicators of what we need to do, by thus, you know, performing or bringing synchronicities into our lives. I think that's more of a holistic approach rather than Carl Jung's interpretation, which is, you know, he doesn't really implement the idea of God's will or following God's will into synchronicity, or the concept of synchronicity itself. So tell me what you guys think of this in the comments section down below. If you're interested in doing any kind of coaching, one-on-one mentorship, mindset mentorship with regards to like procrastination, developing discipline, overcoming bad habits, or spiritual mentorship of any kind, and you simply just want to do a one-on-one, and you want to talk to me for like 30 minutes about what you want to work on, then check out the links in the description below, where you will find a link to my website where you can book a free call with me for 30 minutes and we can talk about everything that you want to work on. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you in the next one.